Good afternoon, everyone. Just taking one sec for the screen for the slideshow to load. All right, here we go. So I'm here to propose a change for an improved Bell schedule. Right now, our schedule currently consists of an A-day, B-day schedule. You have 75-minute blocks, which is kind of long. You don't see the kids every day, so here is just a modification for a new schedule. So where do we stand? Classes are 75 minutes long. It can be hard to concentrate. We'll talk about attention spans in just a sec from some studies. Students currently have an option. Also, one big kind of negative drawback is an option to take a full class VIP, or study hall as we call it. And right now, over a fourth of our students have chosen that. So those are not butts in academic seats. Students can't, study hall is a positive thing, but if students abuse it, it can be an issue. Additionally, if they have it at the beginning or the end of class, they can leave early or come in late, which again, kind of, as we show, the research will show in just a sec, is kind of a negative aspect of our academia. So the new schedule will be a 4-day rotating block. The figure is shown here. Even though classes are a little shorter, they're about 54 minutes. The academic time is actually longer. So right now, students meet roughly 6,750 minutes a year. That bumps up to almost 7,500. That's almost 12 more hours of academic time, right? More time to go over content for AP classes, stuff like that. So as you'll see in just a sec, our numbers are fairly low when it comes to academia. So this is just one solution to improve that. Why is this needed? So state assessment in both math and ELA has dropped significantly, right? And I'll show you a graphic in just a second about how many students are actually taking academic classes versus non-academic classes like culinary. We recently did some surveys, and teachers and students both, wanted to kind of improve where we lie. So that is why we are going through it. And it's a combination of data from the state, from data from internally, academic studies. So it's definitely a positive and a lot of trends. So right here, this graphic shows students that have full VIPs. So as you can see here, right, over 314 students out of 1,200 are taking a full block VIP or study hall, which is a lot. Again, those students can come in late or leave early, or again, they may even have additional study halls. And as you see here as well, I'm going to move this up a little bit. A lot of students aren't taking classes like math and science, right, or social studies. They're taking visual arts. Some more students are taking English or business. So these are not our necessarily core academic classes. They're still important, but they're not, related to our state assessment data, which is also important. Here is our state assessment data, right? So this is prior to the pandemic. ELA was on an uptrend, which is fantastic, right? Math was a little bit on a downtrend, but again, not terrible. Our numbers have dropped significantly in ELA, about 20% over the last 5 years. And from 2017 to 2023, we're down about 11% in math. And that's for freshmen and juniors. So it's pretty reflective. So this is why we need some more academic time. Here's some additional data, right? Right now, attention spans for 14-year-olds and 16-year-olds range between about 28 and 48 minutes. So right now, our 75-minute blocks are nowhere near that window. So right now, the new blocks would be 54 minutes, which is much closer to the study. And again, students can focus on key points, so you're not rushing at 75 minutes because you may see that student the next day. And there are different times, right? Different monotony, or you have the same monotony if you're seeing the same, block 5 kids every day, or block 1 kids, or at the end of the day. Those kids that come in first thing in the morning, they're sleepy, right? They're tired. But if you see them at right before lunch or right after lunch or what have you, it breaks up the monotony, and you have kind of different time to invigorate the learning process. Here is our recent survey. We're at a rationale for review. Like I said, staff is on board. We want those blocks to be between 50 and 60 minutes, closer to that academic time. Instructional time increases by more than 10%, 15%. And again, our VIP study hall time would be a more productive time, a more engaging environment, as opposed to just a study hall. Oh, and this additionally helps for things like AP courses, driver's theory, stuff like that, where you can get more time to prepare for these kind of exams. Again, these are the supporters, right? More teacher interaction, more 11 and a half. Get to know students, right? Classrooms can be a place of not just learning content, but learning, people and environments and stuff like that. So this evolves that metric as well. The uncommitted, right? Roughly 20% of non-sports. So I'm looking at 40% of people that are kind of against this, 20% are the uncommitted, right? That are just kind of go through it. But we have consistent contact time. You have more progression in the curriculum. So if that's something that you don't think is going to be a thing, it is, right? Instructional time increase. You can get to more. You could talk about more. You can go into the weeds more or use more examples, applications. A common lunch where everybody eats together with friends. All right, so if you are a person that's all about the emotional learning, social emotional learning part of school, right, you are going to be with your friends all the time. Right now, we don't have that. We have 8 different lunch blocks. So some students sit by themselves, which is frowned upon, right? So this is just something that we can grow from. The other 20%, the non-supporters, people that really don't want to be part of this, right? So here are just some strategies, and I'm not going to go over all of them, but again, if this is not going to happen overnight. This is not going to be perfect on day one. So to talk and listen and create a plan, what obstacles do arise? How do we do that? Right? A concerns-based suggestion box, right? If you're seeing something, if we implement this in September and December, something rolls around, can we make this better, right? And develop a plan, right? If we're, at point A, how do we get to point B and how do we get to point C? So having that buy-in, that listening can definitely be a positive attribute for those that are against this. And again, this kind of circles with that as well. You have concerns, right? Shared staff. We do run a preschool at our stuff, at our school. Senior privileges. How is that going to look compared to what it is now? Common lunch logistics. Can we house 1,300 students? Maybe tough, right? So these are things that we're going to talk about and points that we're going to address as we move forward with this. And then perseverance and leadership, right? 1,300 people, students here, over 150 staff members, right? So not everyone's going to be happy all the time, but it's kind of up to me to wear different hats, different positions, different discussions, and that's something that, I signed up for, and that's what we need to do. All right, so here it is, right? New bell schedule, shorter periods, meet more frequently, more academic time, looking to impact the relationships we have with our students, state assessment data. It's all supported by academic research. And again, circling back, leader needs to wear different hats and address different situations, right? So that's something that we need to look forward to kind of as we go on.